ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकम्.
So, Kashmira, after that, your journey has been long and very beautiful. How did the next step take place? Auto writing, telepathy, channeling started, and
Yes,
then voice channeling. Can you
there
please
was
throw
a
some
time.
light on this?
There was a time when after about 3.5 years, the guides told me, oh, now you can start healing people. You can start showing, telling people or making people do auto writing. So this was it was just a transformation, or you can say an extension of what I was actually really doing.
Right, right. Very nice. Yeah.
Then it came as voice channelings, and I stopped using the pen slowly. And then slowly I was taught how to teach the same to my students.
Wonderful.
You see, and how to make them understand that, oh, just take out your phone or take out a recorder. You remember in those days you used to get those small recorders.
Correct, correct.
Thin
Yes.
ones,
Yes.
voice recorders.
Yes.
So we used to use that also. And that brought about a lot of messages, much longer, much wider scope for recording what was coming directly from the other side.
I think, how has your work changed over the years? I mean, and of course, how have you changed over the years more than your work?
Good
Because
question.
because your work we know now, began in a certain way, and now of course it's become you're now a teacher yourself, and you've trained so many people. But how have you changed over the years?
I will tell you, I was a professor and I have taught in colleges. And every time I was rigid about a student or I was stern upon that student, my heart would pinch. My conscience would be sad. And I would try to become like that person, see the situation, see why they have reacted in that way. And that used to give me my answers. I used to never feel bad about going and saying sorry and making those students feel good about themselves and that I was wrong. So if you have this ability to be humble, I think, and to see your own mistakes, which is a very difficult thing for every human being. The strongest and the bravest cannot see their own mistakes, and they keep thinking they are right. So you really have to be stronger than strong to be going within your being. So I think my meditations helped me as I was meditating, and deep meditations would make me understand that I'm wrong. And I need to voice it to the person I've been wrong to. And I need to stop judging people with such situations. And I need to see their point of view. So all these things were not there in me before. I was a strong, stern, you can say judgmental, righteous human being. But a lot needs to change around there. And slowly and steadily, it started showing in my work, in the love I got from my people. in the respect I got from surrounding places. And um, yes, I changed as a person, and I would insist with all my students to change as a person. Just doing automatic writing, I'm telling you, I've had rascals wanting to do automatic writing, excuse my words. But I have seen them change.
Yes.
I have seen them become really good human beings because they knew they were wrong. They could slowly accept they were wrong, and they
Yes.
could allow others. This was very important. To allow everyone to be who they are without judging is tough. So this all changed in me first, and then I was able to bring the change in a lot of people, in a
Right.
lot of students, and a lot of phases of my own life.
Yes. So if you change, your work changes, and then the work
Absolutely.
changes you. That's
Absolutely.
really how
It's
it
like
works like
I'll
that.
tell you in a simple way. When a child cooks, and when the same child grows into someone older and starts to cook, he starts incorporating a few more ingredients.
True.
He starts realizing that if he fries a little more, he will cook better. It will taste better. He
Right.
starts realizing if he cuts finer, it will look and seem and taste and cook better. So as you evolve as a soul, your work evolves, your entire being becomes ready to be used by a higher force, and a
Right.
still higher force, and a still cleaner force. So as you grow here, there are forces getting ready on the other side for the same mediums or for the same souls, and those forces slowly combine. But if you don't lift, they cannot come lower than a certain point to communicate with us or to
Correct.
connect with us. So we need to lift our consciousness, and that's basically what happens. It's the way of the universe. Universe brings it to you, shows it to you, puts it in your lap, and then if you don't choose it, then it moves away. So we miss our chance.
Right. So I want to ask Kashmira that uh, when somebody passes over, when is it that they connect with you? Is it like immediately after they pass over, or after a few months, or is there some time frame
Yes,
when they
yes, good
connect?
question. I'll be honest, I have made certain allowances in this too. In reality, we were told not to allow for 6 months, not to try to connect with the soul, because they're going through the Akashic cycle. They are going through the mistakes they have made. And if they have to take the choices again in their lives, would they take the same choices, or would they take choice B and C? Or would they consider not taking A at all and just working with C? These parts they have to clear.
Correct.
When they reach the other side, they reach a certain dimension. That dimension, one has to work hard to realize that one is dead and not living anymore.
Mm.
Even that is not known to the soul. The soul keeps wondering why the cupboard is not opening, why my people are not listening to me, why are they suddenly starting to eat without me, why can't I eat my food? I was eating every day, suddenly why can't I taste my food? And
Mm.
these kind of simple things
Mm.
they cannot really fathom once they
Mm.
leave body. Slowly in the fourth dimension, they are given their chances. And if they have accepted, some of them, if they are sick and suffering here, they go straight to a state called hospital because their mind knows that they were in the hospital. Until that mind realizes or that consciousness realizes that they have died, they cannot get rid of that pain either.
Right.
So, who makes them realize? There are certain dear departeds on the other side who wait and who receive these souls. They may be known to you, they may not be known to the soul who dies,
Okay.
but they receive these souls, and from the point of receiving, they show them direction. There are many souls who just want to lie in self pity. They remain in those hospitals, they remain in pain until and unless they accept the help they are getting, until and unless they accept that they have died and now they cannot be there now. At that point of time, they escape the body circuit, which still exists with them,
Right.
the soft body.
That's right.
They
Astral.
accept that and they move
Yeah.
out of it. After which they go through their Akashic records, which is their mistakes, other choices, whether they want to take a rebirth or they want to continue growing and learning more on the other side. Now, if they want to grow and learn from the other side, it is difficult because they don't have experiences there.
Right.
So they need human beings. They need hands, they need a brain, they need a body to fulfill their good deeds. So they are asked on the other side, do you have someone who really loves you there? Do you have someone who will be a medium for you? Do you have someone who will help you out when you decide not to take a rebirth? If they say yes, they get this chance that they don't take a rebirth. And at least some for a short period of time, some for a long period of time, some till they achieve certain growth and learning, they don't take a rebirth.
Right.
But if they are confused souls who die suddenly, or who are not even aware that they have left the other dimensions and they don't want to accept, those souls take quick rebirths.
Correct.
Many times they are aborted on this side. Many times they are stillborn on this side because their forces are not really allowing them and they are not hearing their forces. So at one point of time, the forces being bigger stop the soul from taking a rebirth in these manners.
Right.
So that nothing is really wrong on this side. Whatever is happening here, be it an abortion or be it a stillborn, it is a divine rule or a law that it's being followed, and that is being followed.
Correct. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Mm.
So you can connect to them, and has there been a time when certain souls don't connect to you?
Yes, there have been times when I'm told that they have taken a rebirth.
Okay.
And surely in some way it's proven on this side that somebody in their family or somebody in their friend circle has taken a birth. And it could probably be the soul that was told to me that, he's taken a rebirth, now we cannot connect. There are times when there are souls that haven't expanded their consciousness. So they are in the lower dimension. They are still waiting in second, third, and fourth dimension. I am told not to connect. They are not in the zone. They cannot be connected
Right.
because they still have a long process to finish.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So that's interesting. So,
Yes.
if we all have a higher self, then maybe the soul is reborn. The consciousness that needs to be having a body is definitely reborn. But the higher self of that person, can you connect to that?
Yes. I like this question. But when we say higher, it is still a man made word. We shouldn't forget that most of the words we use are concepts. So, what we are really trying to say is the innermost core, the core that takes a birth and takes a rebirth and another rebirth and another rebirth. And that is connected to all the souls of this soul's lives. So, all the rebirths that the soul had taken had a super part, a superior part. And these superiors meet to become one force, one energy, which is exactly the force that takes a rebirth when it does. And that force is there in every soul who is born. And that is the higher self, the innermost self, the core of the being. And you can also call it the ego, the basic ego, that one point, that one spark, that one sperm that gives you your birth.
Okay.
So if the self is connected to all of these and remembers. The point is, remembers
Yeah.
that it has lived so many lives, and this was the good, 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 good. Today I'm trying to be as good as I can.
Mm.
That then does not stay at a human level or a conceptual level of the word good. That becomes inner, that becomes higher.
Mm. So then, will you be able to connect to that self, though the
Everyone
person?
should, everyone should
Right.
be able to. But
Right.
then life is about remembering, for which everybody needs to meditate, everybody needs prayer and mantra, everybody needs self growth and self assertion and self realization for the same.
That's true.
And then, of course, the connecting with the super self, with the higher self. Otherwise, still then the human being calls it subconscious. There's
Mm.
nothing sub. What is sub? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
That
Yes.
we
Yes.
are subordinating ourselves to think
Mm.
like this. So soon
Right.
as you start thinking like a superior being, you start remembering from all lives, all times that the soul has lived, and all the
Right.
good you've done.
Is there something you want to tell the viewers about becoming a channel? Let's say there is somebody listening to you and has lost their loved one. How do they now slowly begin to
Hmm.
meditate? How do they start
Absolutely.
believing that the person who's departed is there? Because as we know, the past 1.5 year has been really difficult for people. They've lost
Correct.
their loved ones, there's grief everywhere. They don't know what's going on with their lives, what's going to happen. So I want you to give a message to all those ones who are scared, fearful, those who have lost their loved ones. How do they start their journey now?
This is a lovely chance you're giving to me. This is something I have often told many people who asked me, are we disturbing the souls? Are we troubling our loved ones? Are we supposed to do this? Will it attract evil from the other side? And stuff like this has come to me from many people. But as they understand that the law of nature has a place for everything and has a moment for every moment, it so happens that the soul who dies has also had many lives before, and while he was living, he was always scared of dying. Every human is scared of dying. From where does this scare come? From where does this fear come? It comes from past lives and having died in past lives. A child takes a wrong step and is scared or starts to cry by falling. That comes from the fear of having died in past life. So every soul has carried this fear with them that they have died and that everything has ended. But as soon as the soul starts living the life in such a way that every moment is meant to be and there is no end, there is only a continuity and there is only a flow. So when they understand this, they understand that the dead is still connected to them. The the people, the souls who love them and they love so much, can still stay connected to them. This understanding has to come from the level of somebody who's guiding these souls. The medium has to be very strong. The connector and the protecting forces have to be very strong to be able to inculcate this in people who come and sit in front of these mediums and they want to connect or they want to find out how their loved ones are, or they have problems in their lives and they want to ask certain questions, or they have certain court cases, or they've lost their wills, or they don't know what's happening next, and they keep hearing something from that soul, but they don't know what the soul is trying to say. So all these things get a lot of help by just understanding that they have a small curtain behind between them.
Hmm.
Between them and their dear departeds, there's a curtain which has to be lifted by you, not by them.
Right.
They know that they are waiting. There are so many of the parents who die or the children who die. They are waiting to speak to their loved ones. But we don't open doors because we fear.
Right.
We don't open a chance for them to say what they want to say or to communicate their message to us. And they wait for years and years and years.
That's right. Yes.
There are some people who come to me in the beginning, they've been scared of it and they've walked away. And after 5, 7 years, again that feeling arises in them and
Mm.
they come again to again find out. And that
Mm.
time they actually take it in. So it so depends upon when you are living, what is your conditioning? Who are your
Right.
friends? Who are your teachers? What have you learned? What have you read? What have you picked up from where you were? And after you have realized that there is life on the other side, and there is life in everything, and there is life in every speck, then how is it that this life is over? The life of
Right.
my father is over, the life of my mother is over. It's not. It continues, and I want to know where they have gone and what is continuing for them.
Right.
And as a child, or as a parent, or as a relative, it becomes your bonded duty to understand how they feel after they leave body, or to understand where they are or what they are feeling, and if you can make a difference in their lives, which we all can, depending on our belief system, our conditioning, and also, very importantly, what we have picked up as knowledge. There are negative friends, there are negative families, they just talk very, very badly and lowly about all of this, then you tend to get into that trend. But there are positive families who suddenly say, oh, the other day, the light in my house was flickering and I thought my mom was trying to tell me something. And this is beautiful. If you thought that way itself, it is beautiful that you know that yes, your mom can relate to you even now.
Right. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
it's very simple. It's
Mm.
basically also this, that when you talk of thought transference, or you talk of soul travel. When I'm saying soul travel, suppose I say uh, Trupti or Jackie or Ranjot, you need to find out where your mother had kept the mala in the house. And you know. So just try and remember, where is that mala now?
Mm.
What will happen to you is you'll sit where you are and your mind will start traveling 3, 4 different places in the same house at the same time. You'll see it and you'll think, oh, was it in her drawer? Or was it on her table? Or did she put it under the lamp? Did she put it under her pillow regularly? Where would this mala be? My mother's mala.
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm trying to
Yes.
say?
Yes.
So
Yes. I
your
understand.
soul traveled in 4 different places at the same time and you don't even know it. And
Yes.
this keeps happening daily to human beings. If only they can see this. If someone says, where's your office? You say Parel, but you travel literally in that moment, you
Correct.
travel to your office.
Yes. That's true. That's
So
true.
that's how simple it is.
And so, friends, we know that life, that earth is a school, but there's also a school when we pass away. And that realm is also like a school, like Kashmira said. There are so many dimensions, right? So when you pass away, there are different dimensions. You don't need to be reborn immediately because maybe you have some learning to do in that dimension.
Mm.
So it's very important to understand these realms. It's important to also understand the most important that Kashmira said is about fear. That if you have fear, if you have certain negative beliefs, they will grip you. They will grip you so hard that you
Mm.
will be unable to heal yourself and heal everybody around you. Another
Beautifully said.
wonderful thing that Kashmira said is you have to raise your vibration. You cannot expect the ones who have departed to come to a denser frequency But you will have to move to a lighter frequency. That is done through meditation. And then, of course, as your meditation gets deeper and deeper, so many wonderful things can start happening to you. But I sincerely think that a teacher, a mentor is very important for you, because you could go in any kind of direction. So it's important to have a teacher and a mentor, somebody who's worked for years, who has experience. That's very important. Don't go to a medium or a mentor who's just like, a kind of a novice. It's important to go to somebody who has years of experience, because that person knows the journey that the person has taken, has refined that person so much that that person can help you in a much, much deeper manner. And the other thing that Kashmira said very nicely is, don't get caught up with your roles. You're a mother, a sister, a husband, a father today, but when you move on the other side, these roles may continue, or the person may take rebirth again. And that slowly you start understanding your past lives, you understand your own journeys, and when you understand yourself better, you can understand any and everybody around you. Kashmira, it was a deep and wonderful conversation, my dear, with you.
Thank you
And
so
I,
much, Trupti.
I want to let people know that we will continue to meet Kashmira in the next week or the week after that also, because she's going to show us how she channels. So
That'd be nice.
yes, I
Thank
want to
you.
thank Kashmira once more, Kashmira. A big pranam and a big thank you to you, my dear.
Thank you, Trupti ji.
Thank you.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you too. A big giant hug to you too, and to
Thank you,
everybody
Trupti ji.
else.
Thank you so much.
Keep watching Mritunjaya.
Yes.
Thank you.
असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः